Hello everyone and welcome back to another video here on Sam's Crafted Castle, and today we have my dad's Father's Day card. So this is actually his Father's Day card from last year, because if you've been around you know that I usually post his Father's Day cards the year after he gets them. He doesn't always watch my videos, but sometimes he does, and sometimes plans and things don't work out the way we planned, and he gets his cards a little late, so I always do this just to be a little extra cautious. And yeah, so this is not his card from this year. This is the card I made him for last year. But I do have to say that it is probably one of my more favorite cards that I've done in a long time, honestly. Still, I think this one came out really cute. So him and I both are very much dog people. I also like cats. He doesn't mind cats. He will tolerate cats, but he'd rather be around dogs. I would take either or, personally. Although I guess, you know what, I guess if I had to say it, I would say that I do slightly prefer a dog to a cat. But I am happy to hang out with either type of critter. I am just an animal person kind of in general, though. But he really likes dogs. And I got this. This is the Tim Holtz Crazy Dog stamp set. Has been around forever. Pretty sure it's retired now. Not sure it's available any longer. But I got it from my aunt when she was destashing her stuff. So I got that from her, and I thought it would make a really cute Father's Day card. And then I kind of came up with this little design for it, and I thought it would be really fun. So I actually ended up making this one a 5x7 card because I needed all the space I could get, because those dogs are actually fairly big. So I have already cut my 5x7 card and cut the card base, and what I'm doing here is I am cutting some masking magic from Gina K Designs, and I'm just cutting 3 circles into it. We're going to do a lot of masking and a lot of ink blending on this card, because there's one other thing I just realized I forgot to mention, and this is a 1-layer card. So it is, there's no layering to it, it's all ink blending, coloring, stamping. There's not even really any die cutting to it once we cut out these 3 circles, so I've cut 3 circles into this panel, and I've cut the masking magic down to be 5x7 to cover the front of my card, basically. And we're going to use the circle pieces that we cut out, so make sure that if you are trying to recreate this card or something later or something similar, that you make sure that you hold on to the circle pieces, because you're going to need them. One of my favorite things about masking magic while I'm using it here, although you're about to watch me really struggle with the same thing I'm about to say that I really like about it, is other masking papers that I've used in the past have been at times difficult to get like the backing off of. And masking magic is actually makes that pretty easy, because it has like little lines in it in the back that are cut into the backing, that you can kind of like fold things and pull it off. So you'll see like how the big piece came off in 2. That being said, if you're cutting something small, like if you're trying to mask off an image to do like a scene or something, you have to be careful to make sure that like you actually get the kind of peely part in your image, because that's kind of what happened with the circles you can see me struggling with here. I had like the line in the circles, but it was very, very small, like right on the edge is where the line of where the little cut is, I guess. So it was a little bit harder to grab onto it and get it peeled off, but we got it and it all worked out. And so I've just placed those, I've stuck down the overlay piece, whatever you want to call it, and now I've stuck the circles in, because like I said, don't get rid of your circles. And now I'm going to ink blend the background. So my dad's favorite color is blue, so I'm going to do a blue background. This is very blue and tan themed card. So I'm just going to ink blend. I don't do anything crazy here with the ink blending. I just do it all one color. I totally could have done, some cool gradients thing or something. But I ended up deciding that I really just liked doing the one color, and this is the Gina K Designs Blue Raspberry color. I'm really impressed how much of this card I actually remember, because all I knew was I had last year's Father's Day card filmed to post this weekend, because it's Father's Day weekend. So happy Father's Day to all the dads and uncles and grandpas and great-grandpas and everybody out there who has a father-like role in someone they care about's life. But I knew I was going to post a video this weekend, this Father's Day video this weekend from last year, and I couldn't remember what card it was, but this is one of those cards where as soon as I saw the picture of it and started editing, I was like, oh yeah, I know exactly what I was doing. But because I really, really like this card, that's why. So now I'm just going to line back up the over piece, because now I'm just worried about the circles. I've got, my background is done, so my masking magic is basically going back down here to protect my background from what I'm going to keep using. I'll admit this was probably the hardest part of this card, was getting this lined up, because it is kind of sticky. So like getting it lined up perfectly, you don't have it's not sticky in a way that moves easily, so it's like once it's down, it's kind of down. I mean, it's a removable adhesive, so like it's not like permanently stuck down, but it's not like a liquid adhesive where you have some like wiggle room to like glue things. So now I've just peeled off my masked circles, and now we're going to do some stamping, and we're going to get doggies out here and do some stamping. So part of this card was this dog. This dog is, I mean, they're a crazy dog, so they're a little like cartoonish, but this one reminds me so much of our dog, Brooklyn. So technically Brooklyn's my dad's dog, and she technically lives with him. Since I'm not allowed to have dogs where I'm living currently, but I still call her our dog. I was there when she was baby, so she's still ours in my brain. So that this one Brooklyn is a schnauzer. I don't have any recent. No, I do have a recent picture of her. I'll have to see if I can get it on my computer. I'll see if I have a picture on my computer, and if I do, I will insert it. If not, go to the Instagram post, and I will try to remember to put a picture of her on the Instagram post. And then this one, I don't have a picture of him. I know I don't. Maybe I should. I know I don't have. I haven't seen him in a long time. But this one reminds me of my cousin's dog. Is a chocolate lab named Copper. So I decided to make the second dog Copper. And then the third dog is kind of the just for fun dog. I don't really have a dog in mind, a real life counterpart to the third dog. I could have probably used the lab again, and we had another dog when I was growing up. Her name was Kazi, and I could have colored the last one like Kazi maybe, but I did not do that. I kind of didn't want to repeat dogs. I like the idea of having the 3 different ones. So the last one is kind of the random dog, who's really not anybody, which sounds so rude to say, but they're not colored, whatever, to match a real life dog. So Brooklyn is a black dog, but she does have a lot of little gray furs going on, and I don't know if that's just because she's older or just how she is. She didn't have them like when she was a baby, but she also started getting them when she was still fairly young. Like she's only 8, which is like, no, she's 7, which is like getting old for a dog. Like it's like their first year of them being considered a senior dog. So like she's getting older, but she's not old yet. Like in human years, she'd be like 49. So that's really not old yet. So, and she's had her gray hairs for many years at this point. Like she's had them for at least 3 or 4 years now. And she is part schnauzer. So, and schnauzers are traditionally gray. So like I think it's just the schnauzer in her. But she is a rescue, and she is quite the mix of dog breeds, honestly. So she's got a weird little body to her, but she, so anyway, so I'm coloring this dog to look like Brooklyn, and because she's black mainly, I'm using a lot of grays to color her in, because if you just use a black copic marker to color something that is black, it looks like nothing, because you've stamped it in black ink typically as well, and if you stamp it in a lighter color ink, you're just going to lose that color anyway to the black. So if you're coloring anything black with copic markers, you actually kind of want to go for your grays. And this is when I realized I kind of made a mistake. I'm assuming I was smart enough to use my Gina K Designs 110 pound heavy base weight white cardstock when I made this card. Because I knew from the start my intention was to do a 1-layer card. But I forgot about putting something in between it or behind it or anything to keep it safe from the marker bleed through, because that will happen no matter what you do. So yeah. And then I realized kind of at this point that oh wait, I should have done something with the circles for the background, because it looks kind of weird with them just being white. And I was like, well, I can't ink blend anymore, and I didn't want to try to mask off the doggies. So I was like, well, I can just color a little background. So I just grabbed out a kind of brown tannish colored marker and colored in the background, and that's all I'm going to do for all of them. And now we're going to, Brooklyn was the hardest one to color, kind of, although my other little note on Brooklyn is Brooklyn's color is pink. I don't know if all y'all who have dogs, or even really pets in general, sometimes pets have colors, and I don't know how to explain it, but they just have a color that is theirs. Kazie's color was red, everything, all of her stuff was red. And Brooklyn's has been pink up until recently, because she has a red Mickey Mouse collar now. But she actually kind of needs a new collar, sooner, eventually, because her Mickey Mouse one's getting kind of beat up. But her color is typically pink. But since she has a red Mickey Mouse color right now, I colored her collar red. Not that really matters. So then this one I'm coloring to look like a chocolate lab, so I went very traditional, just brown colors. Somewhere in this one I make a boo-boo, and I have to admit I'm not zoomed in enough to remember what the boo-boo is, but you'll see me. I shouldn't say, I know what the boo-boo was. I overcolored something, and I colored something that I didn't mean to. I'm assuming it's probably one of his eyeballs, because that's usually what I do when I'm not paying attention. And I don't know if I've already done it, because I'll admit I just looked away from the screen for a little bit. But I, at some point, grabbed a white gel pen and came in and cleaned it up a little bit. And if you do overcolor something, like I said, I'm guilty of doing that. I do that more often than I would like to. So yeah. You can cover it up with a gel pen fairly easily, usually. Sometimes it works better than others, kind of depends, but for the most part, it's pretty easy to fix. So there's my little copper. So now that I'm looking at this now, if I was really coloring that to look like copper, I probably would have colored it a little bit darker. That brown's a little light to be our copper, to be my cousin's dog, but and I think I forget to color in his collar too, and I have to go back and do it. But same thing, I'm just taking that same sort of tan color that I had, and I'm going to color in the background of that doggy. The last doggy I end up doing gray. I don't know, this apparently has kind of continued on from last year apparently, but I've been doing a lot of gray colored critters and things lately. I don't know why that is, but I really I think I just kind of like the color combination I have in my brain for grays. Oh look, I didn't forget his collar. I did do it. He gets a blue collar. The last puppy gets a green collar, I'm pretty sure. I went with very kind of primary colors. Green is not a primary color. Green is a secondary color because you get it by mixing yellow and blue. But green's one of those weird colors where I feel like, depending on who you ask, some people may say it's a primary color, but it's technically not. So yeah, but I'm just going to color in this doggy gray. Like I said, I don't know, I've just been vibing with the gray animal thing lately. So lots of gray doggies and mice and bears, and the bears I just teased, you'll have to wait till next year. That's my grandpa's Father's Day card. This is I'll say this about Father's Day. I'll admit, Father's Day always tends to get kind of away from me. I don't know if it's just because it's like at the start of kind of summer. I've got a bunch of birthdays in June. My birthday's in June. And sometimes I think it just like gets away from me. Like pretty much anything that happens in the first 2 weeks of the year will get away from me. Or of the month will get away from me. Like I have a friend whose birthday is October 1st. And another friend whose birthday is September 10th. And I always tease them and say, your birthdays are just too early in the month for me. Like, I just lose track of them. I have a cousin whose birthday is May 5th, and, like, if it happens within the first, like, 14 days of the month, I just have this awful habit of, like, losing track of it, which Father's Day isn't usually that quick in June a lot of times. Like, this year it's the 15th, so, like, I don't know. I don't really have a great reason for it. I just always lose track of it. So a lot of times I'm like scrambling to try and get a Father's Day card done for my dad. So unfortunately, a lot of times my grandpa kind of gets left out. But not this year. This year I was actually like way ahead of things, and I've had their cards done for like almost a month already. So that's really cool, and I'm glad I was able to get ones done for both of them. My dad and my grandpa both have birthdays very close together too, and in July, so I think that's the other thing too, is sometimes like, it's like the kids who have their birthdays really close to Christmas and stuff, like, they kind of overshadow each other, and personally, I'd rather send them a, birthday card than a Father's Day card. Okay, so we are going to add our greetings. This is our card. It's done. Like, that's it. We're just going to stamp on stuff now. So I have this greeting set from Newton's Nook, and I'll have it linked down below because honestly the name is escaping me at the moment. But I use it for Father's Day pretty much every year. It's like my favorite set for Father's Day. It actually has a lot of more like obscure holidays on it. Not that Father's Day is like particularly an obscure holiday, but like, it's got like 4th of July and St. Patrick's Day and all that kind of stuff on it, and that you don't usually see. But I use this for my Father's Day cards every year. It's like one of my favorite stamp sets for that. It has a lot of other random holidays on it that I don't always make cards for, but I used to make my little cousin, her favorite holiday is the 4th of July, so I used to make her 4th of July cards when she was younger. I'm going to see her in a little bit, so maybe I'll have to get her address from her. I'll try making her some. And then I had another stamp set out from another card I had done last year when I was filming this. Oh, see, it was the Gray Dogs color that I forgot. I just colored it. And it had a sentiment that said, "You're my favorite guy" on it, so I thought that was cute. So it says, "Happy Father's Day, you're my favorite guy." And this is also when I kind of, like, I already knew this was coming because I figured this out earlier. But this is where I can show you what to do when you do what I did. And forget that you need to cover up your copic markering, basically, on the back side. So I've got to fix that problem. And I have just cut 2 5x7 panels, and I'm going to simply glue them in on each side. Now, like, theoretically, could you just cut another, like, not, like, what would that be, 10x7 panel, or whatever, not really a panel in that case, but like a 10x7 sheet, and fold it in half? You could absolutely do that. I don't like the way that folds generally, so I will usually do it this way, where I will cut it into pieces and glue it on. And then I had a little extra hanging off the edges, so I just took my scissors and trimmed that off. I could have honestly left it on. It's not that much over the edge, and I was also hand delivering this I was also hand delivering this card. I wasn't like mailing it, so I could have gotten away with not being quite as neat about it. But I wanted to clean it up a little bit. So there's last year's Father's Day card. Stick around till next June and you'll get to see this year's Father's Day card. This year's is a very fun theme. He should be getting his card today, so maybe I could mention it, but I also don't want to risk it on the off chance he sees this or the Instagram post or something before I see him today. So, anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below, and I'll see you again soon. And have a crafty day.